Hello and welcome to the basic demonstration of how instant pooling works. Right now, I am currently in the example scene that I have uploaded with the instant pooling package. And as you have noticed, if you have already purchased the package, over here there are no pools. So let's get into it. Let's start creating our first pool. To create a pool, you have to click on the menu item right here, Instant Tools, then Instant Pooling, and Create Pool System. You will notice here in your hierarchy that Instant Pool has appeared. You can click this and you notice that there's an Instant Pool class. This is really easy to use. You just press Add Pool, then there's the name. Since this little character over here has to shoot red projectiles, as its name I will just use red projectile. And the size is basically the size of the pool. We can have, for example, 6. With a lifetime of 2 seconds, so after 2 seconds the bullet will be destroyed, and the object, which is basically the prefab of what we want to add in the pool. Since we want to shoot red bullets, or red projectiles, however you want to call them, there's a red projectile over here. And the thing is, once you press play, the object pools won't be automatically created. You have to generate them manually, but this has to be done only once, and every update that you do to the object pool will be automatically reconfigured over here in these objects that have been generated. As you have noticed, we have object pools, and as its child there's a red projectile, and it has all its objects within it. So this is basically our object pool with all the items deactivated. Before we get started though, I have to mention that I created a basic character controller that makes the little character over here move left and right, and I have a weapon script. So this is the most generic weapon script that I could think of, that has like a spawn position and the fire rate. As you notice over here though, there is projectile type. Basically here I can insert the name of the projectile that I want to spawn. So since I created a pool called red projectile, and I want to fetch an object from this pool, I basically just have to add the name in projectile type within my weapon script. I'll get more on that later once I open the code, and like this you can figure out how you implement it yourself. So after doing all this, it should be done. I'll just press play, and there we go. As you notice, the object pool named red projectile is not big enough, because obviously I'm shooting too many bullets before, there's not enough bullets available here for the fire rate I have. So what I could do is just go in Instant Pool and increase the size of it, or enable is dynamic. How does is dynamic work? So it does weigh a little more in performance because it uses instantiate, but just once. If you notice, once the bullets that are on the left over here, there is no more availability, the pool size will increase. But only up to a certain point, because afterwards there will be enough bullets within this object pool that satisfy the fire ratio of my weapon. Okay, so up to now everything's good, but what if I want to modify my pool structure? So what I can do is just add another pool, and since I had green projectiles, I'll just create another pool and call it green projectile. You notice over here that there's only red projectile within the object pool's parent. So what I can do is press generate pools. And as you noticed, this object kind of refreshed in an awkward way. So you pull this down, and here you have green projectile with, I believe I put 20? Yeah, 20 green projectiles. And if I want to start shooting green projectiles, what can I do? So I'll play, and I'll go to my weapon script over here. So you have red projectile over here, and I'm shooting red. I'll put green projectiles instead, and as you notice, I'm starting to shoot green projectiles. Difference is that green projectiles don't bounce. They're just really slippery. Okay, this is also really good, fun and games, but how is it that you can implement all this stuff within there are existing projects? Now, let's get into the code. Okay, so here we are in the code. As you notice, there's a pool manager class over here. This is basically the heart of instant pooling, and it's responsible for the whole interfacing of your scripts and the internal management of all the pools. We have 4 methods subdivided into usage methods, which are methods that are for using the actual pools that you manually created within the editor, or there's modification methods. This is if you're that power guy who loves to create and manage everything within your scripts directly in runtime. So let's say during the loading of a level you want to change the entire setup of your pooling system, you could do that. You just use these 2 methods because basically they avoid the hassle of doing everything by yourself. So you have delete pool and add pool. But what's the difference between get object and activate object? Essentially, they're the same thing. Get object just fetches an object from the object pool. It returns it to whatever is calling the method, and it just returns it as an activated object, as an enabled object, so it's enabled within your hierarchy. Activate object does everything that get object does, just that it also positions the object in the given position, and it assigns the rotation in the given rotation. This, I find it really practical for projectiles. As you see over here, in my example weapon script, the projectile is basically a game object, and I assign it to poolmanager.activateObject. Pool manager is a static class, which means that you can access it from anywhere. You do not need to create an instance of it. So here you can have activate object, and you pass its parameters. As you notice, I have projectile type, the position of the spawn position, and then the angle, which is basically part of this code over here that is used for making the weapon look at the cursor. And basically that's it. There's nothing more to the pooling system. The only thing that you have to pay attention to is that the pool system is part of instant tools. So to use it, you have to import or actually use the instant tools.pool system namespace. You have to add this line of code over here, line 4. Afterwards, you have access to everything that's about Pool Manager and the pooling system in general.